6-row type barley. The other one being a 2-row. Well, there's 6 of us, so we thought, hey, why not? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if it had any historical significance, but you told me when we met down at the Centennial Beer Fest that I guess your building, like some others in town, has a little bit of beer history connected with it.
Yeah, it's cool. We're in the original Falstaff Brewery, plant number 1.
And how old is that building?
It, let's see, the turn of the century. It was 1902, I want to say, right about then.
And I said to somebody when y'all opened, it's an odd place to have a brew pub. It's like on Forest Park Avenue, which is kind of, it's a road where you're going to and from places.
Right.
And they said, well, duh, it's just down the hill from SLU. Now, are SLU students a big factor? Or,
yes and no. Yeah, yes and no. It's, the undergraduates aren't, they aren't coming into our place as much as, let's say, the grad students, law students. We get a lot of professors. We get grad classes that come in. The professor brings in some of the class. So we get a lot of that. We get parents of the university. It's, it takes a lot of people to run a university more than just the students, and so we get a lot of those people too.
And you're not far from Washington University and others, so yeah, okay, so the beer is great. I've tasted it at the Centennial Beer Fest, and I've had 6-row beer. Now, it's available at Schnucks. Now, you all, are you major brands?
You're asking...
Your distribution, or do you all?
We do, yes. So we have, we actually have 3 different distributors for the Missouri side of the St. Louis metro area. So we've got one for the city. It's called Lore. We've got one in the county. It's called Gray Eagle. And we've got one in St. Charles County called Cry Distributing.
Oh, okay. So it's through the AV folks there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Evan Ben had a story about, I guess, Cry dropping some brands, but are they keeping you guys?
They are keeping us.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So good news there. St. Charles County. Are you on the Illinois side?
We are on the Illinois side. We have 2 distributors on the Illinois side in central Illinois. One's called Donewald, and then the other one, formerly Illinois Distributing, is now Gray Eagle as well. So they were bought out by Gray Eagle. A distributor we already had, luckily, so that worked out nicely for us.
So 6-row beer should be available pretty much everywhere in Metro St. Louis, grocery stores, liquor stores, wine shops, and such as that. Okay, now, Marisa, your family, I guess, kind of got Evan involved in this business here. So if you'd lean in there and kind of tell that story.
Evan and I were dating, and I was bringing him around, and he was brewing in our apartment. And him and Michael started having conversations about, if I had the space and we could get the funds, do you think you could brew on a bigger system? And Evan's like, I'll try it, So we actually made the move to St. Louis for that. We were in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and we moved to St. Louis to start 6-row. So I'll never forget when I walked into the building and there was nothing in there. It was a shell of a building, and I was like, this is what we're going to do? Okay. So, it turned out really well, and the beer is delicious.
And your role in 6-row these days?
I attend almost every festival. I pour beer side by side with Evan. I'm, their biggest fan, and, so I do as much as I can because I have a full-time job as well, so.
Gotcha. Okay, so Evan, on a daily basis, you're brewing beer. Do you brew beer every day at 6-row?
Just about. We brew kind of the brunt of the week, Tuesday through Thursday.
Gotcha. And
then Monday, Friday, and the weekends we use for everything else under the sun that takes to run a small business.
Okay, so on a day that you're brewing beer, and I'm asking you this seriously, you're tasting some along the way. Is that an issue? It's like, okay, I've had too many of these, I've got to stop.
Sure. No, it's kind of like you would taste a wine, especially in the morning. You kind of take a swig, you swirl it around, and then you spit it out, so that you aren't getting inebriated at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's just, you get used to kind of that's how you work in the industry.
Doesn't it make you feel bad, though? Gosh, I got this is really, really good. Now I got to spit it out.
But you do have to do a lot of sampling, too, and that's okay also.
So do you have a regular brewing schedule? Tuesday I'm going to make this much of this kind, or is it?
Yeah, it varies. It really does. It just kind of varies on the production schedule. That's a lot of my work is spent shifting the production schedule. I kind of overlook or oversee that, and I say, okay, we need to brew this here because we're running low on it, and we just got a bunch of orders for this. Well, we better squeeze that in here and move that one off, and that's so. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as our primary days of brewing.
And you were in the wine biz, but you were brewing beer at home.
Yes.
And I know that I found out last year how many people in St. Louis do home brewing.
Yeah.
Do you have a tip or maybe encouragement for people who would like to do that in their house? How hard is it? How big a deal is it? Is it costly? Is it hard to get all the stuff?
Well, it's like anything else. It's it's how far do you want to go down that path? There's guys who have their guys and girls that have their garages retrofitted like a small microbrewery. You can do that, but there's also a way where you can kind of dip your toe in the water, and you can start by doing what they call extract brewing. So what you're doing is you're getting kind of think of it as bringing in like a pre-prepared soup stock, and then you're adding to it.
Gotcha.
So you kind of think of it as that way, whereas if you're brewing kind of just totally from scratch like we do on the production side of things, we're taking everything totally from scratch, and that's how we build it. And you can do that from home, too. It does take a little bit more advanced techniques and knowledge and equipment, but it's certainly possible.
Okay, we're visiting. This is Food Talk STL on 590 The Fan, KFNS. I'm David Craig. This is Marisa Hiatt, and this is Evan Hiatt. And Evan, your official title at 6 Row is?
Brewmaster.
And a partner.
Yeah,
okay. And you also have food available there because, your meatloaf got written up in the Post-Dispatch a month or so ago, right before the beer festival. Do you all, in your restaurant, do you infuse beer much? Is beer an ingredient in some of your food items?
Quite a bit, yeah. We have a handful of items on the menu that use our beer in them. And we do specials often where we use the beer in it as well. I shouldn't say we. I make the beer, but I can't take any credit for the food. They do a great job in the kitchen. Those guys do a really good job.
Do you want to give a shout-out to your chef there?
Yeah, we'll shout out to Eric and Matthew.
They're awesome.
They are.
Do you eat there much, Marisa?
Yes, when Evan works a lot, so we don't get there often. So,
gotcha.
But I do love the buffalo chicken nachos. If anybody really loves buffalo chicken, the nachos are awesome.
I'm making a mental note right here. Okay, I guess your most popular beer, or the one that I'm most familiar with, is one called Whale.
Yes.
And I wondered about the name, and I looked on your website and explained to listeners the name Whale.
So the Whale is a strange beer. It is a lot of different things in one. The two major things that it is it's a wheat beer and it's a pale ale. One of the other partners, his name's Jason, we were like, what do we call this thing? And it's a wheat pale ale. He's like, wheat pale ale, let's call it a whale.
There you go.
We stuck with it.
It's a good contraction. Now, is that your most popular brew?
It is, yes.
And what else are in your top 2 or 3 there?
The Whale is very popular. It's easy drinking. It's very approachable for the people that really like hoppy beers. IPAs are especially popular right now. We have a double IPA, or some people call it Imperial IPA, but ours is called double IPA. It's a very robust IPA, and people really like that. And then for the people that really like malty beers, I've got a very traditional porter. Porter is very akin to a stout. It's a dark beer, very malty, chocolate and roast notes. It's nice.
I got some of that up at Schnucks.
Good.
And it really does go well with a steak.
It does.
It's tremendous. Okay, we have this big storm supposedly coming to town tomorrow. Do you have a beer or a food item? I mean, are you guys making preparations for the storm, or?
Yeah.
Well,
but go ahead.
Well, if you guys, we also have growlers on site, so people can pick up growlers of beer to take home for the snowstorm.
Okay. And you have all of your various brews available in the growlers.
We do, yeah. So you come down and we've got a half-gallon jug. It's called a growler.
Yeah.
And we fill it up with draft beer and send it home with you.
Okay, now that might be a good idea with the. I guess the last I heard was 3 to 7 inches. Although And what do you do when you're down there doing R&D at 6 Row Brewing, Evan, and you make one and you make a decent-sized batch of it, and you say, you know, that either it's not quite right, or I put too much, I don't know, too much clove, or too much, you know, not that you'd put clove in beer, but, you know, too much of this or that, and, I mean, you don't want to just pour it out.
Luckily, we haven't encountered that yet.
Okay.
We haven't come across that. We've been able to kind of make things work, I guess.
Okay.
You know, beer is pretty absolute. It's not like food where you can kind of spice it differently to mask, you know, maybe something that you did wrong. But beer is pretty naked out there. So we do a lot of test batches. We do a lot of kind of, you know, small, what we call pilot batches, smaller batches, to see what's it going to taste like, or what do we think it's going to taste like after we brew it on a big scale.
And you mentioned something about festivals, and you guys, I saw y'all down at the festival at Mulan whenever it was, a few weeks ago. It was in February, yes. Now, do you all do a festival of your own there at 6 Row?
Well, we had one last year, and we're kind of trying to recreate that. So I think Evan and I have been talking about doing something soon. So that's definitely in the works.
That would be in the to be announced category.
Yes.
Well, hey, it's nice to visit with you all. Thanks for coming down and being on the show here.
Thank you.
And are you going right to the brewery tonight, or are you?
I think we're doing some storm preparation today.
Oh, okay.
You know, so we're going to go get maybe cook up a good meal.
Milk and bread. All right.
And, you know, March Madness is on, so we have lots of TVs for everyone to watch the games on if they want to come down tonight. So.
Good deal. All right. Yeah, let's watch that Mizzou-Louisville game.
Yep.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Let's not. Okay. Hey, thank you guys very much. That's Evan Hiatt and Marisa Hiatt from 6 Row Brewing Company. On Food Talk STL on 590 The Fan, we're going to talk to Maddie Ernest from Local Harvest in a few minutes. First, a word from the...
Look, we're pregnant.